Ghost Warrior is a 1984 action sci-fi film from director J. Larry Carroll. The movie begins in 1552 Japan. Oh dear, I think someone died over here. A group of warlords are hauling off an innocent villager. They're stopped by Yoshimitsu. No, not that Yoshimitsu. No, not that one either. Okay, now I'm just being silly. Anyway, they're stopped by Yoshimitsu. Seems they've kidnapped his girlfriend. He rescues her and almost gets away, but gets ambushed. He must have rushed out of the house if he's still wearing his fuzzy bed slippers. Hey, look at me! Look at what I can do! Ain't nobody got time for that. This makes me want to play Bushido Blade. Yoshimitsu easily defeats the guy and spares his life. Not a fan of losing, the bad guy kills Chidori. You son of a bitch! Yoshimitsu then gets an arrow. A completely different guy in a wig falls off a cliff and into the freezing water. Centuries later, in a Coors commercial, some hikers are traveling through the mountains and find a cave. Inside the cave, they check to make sure there's no wampas. They search and discover the body of the samurai. 3 weeks later, Chris, an expert on Oriental history, goes to the California Institute of Cryosurgical Research, which suspiciously looks like the Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant. Okay, surprisingly, this isn't that location. This is another water reclamation plant in California. Chris goes to see Dr. Richards. This is an unexpected Fantastic Four crossover. He takes her to see the body of the samurai on laser life support.
My field is Oriental history. My weak point was that I could speak little Japanese.
So she's an expert on Oriental history, but can't speak Japanese. They show some medical stock footage and resuscitate the samurai. I see they have their Hawaiian punch on standby. They're just using him to study his luxurious hair. Weeks later, Chris goes to the Japanese Bed Bath & Beyond. She brings the samurai's sword to her friend, Professor Takagi. He tells her some stuff to move the plot along. She goes back to the lab with the swords.
These are the best of the best, and they're worth a fortune in the open market.
Great.
Maybe you shouldn't announce that around this guy. Yoshimitsu wakes up and remembers his death. Oh man, what did I drink last night? Then they show that stunt double falling off a cliff again. He looks outside and sees horses. Oh, that's good. And a mechanical dragon, oh no! Hello, Mr. Samurai person, help! The doctor and Chris go to see the samurai. He's understandably confused. To let him know he's not a prisoner, Chris convinces the doctor to give him back his swords. Here's your swords. Please don't murder me. Yoshimitsu then puts his old gear back on. Weeks pass and Chris is spending time trying to communicate with him. It's been months now. I'm pretty sure they could have found someone who speaks fluent Japanese. Boy, this security guy sure is interested in those swords.
What are they worth? No, really. How much?
Come on! I'm totally not going to try and steal them. Honest! Chris does some pattern recognition with him, and he's a super genius.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Oh, you. That night, oh man, if I can get these swords, I can sell them to Breaker High so they can flail around with them.
You be Princess Leia. Yeah, come on, I'm always Princess Leia.
Brilliant idea, dummy. Try to rob a samurai. Security guard versus samurai. Fight!
Flawless victory.
Yoshimitsu goes out of the lab past the security checkpoint. The TV just so happens to be playing the Wasp Tormentor segment from Dungeon Master. Somewhere the cinemasochist is banging his head. Oh, Charles, you master of recycling content. Not that I ever do that.
I will kill.
So anyway.
Forever into eternity.
Yoshimitsu escapes into the outside world. You think they would have had just a little bit more security at this place. Chris and the doctor arrive to see the security guard is dead. Well, I'm sure he deserved it. Yoshimitsu then gets ready to attack cars. Yeah, try claiming this on your insurance. Hello, Liberty? Yeah, a 500-year-old samurai escaped from a science facility and attacked my car. Hello? Hello? Since there's been a murder, they call the police. The cops take them all in for questioning. Yoshimitsu gets to the edge of town and sees the city. Later that day, he sees some hooligans attacking an old man. So he steps in and stops him. This guy won't be clapping anytime soon. Over at the station,
How are you gonna keep us here?
Homicide call.
You tell me the truth.
I told you the truth.
Right.
yeah, next thing you're going to be telling me is there's a guy in a samurai outfit going around chopping off the hands of criminals.
Hey, Harry, get a load of this. Some nut dressed like a samurai just chopped up 3 guys on South and 3rd.
Well, don't I feel silly? Seeing that they weren't lying, the police let him go. The old guy thanks Yoshimitsu and offers to buy him a drink. This is a really good line.
Oh, I served in the Pacific too. No hard feelings.
They step into a sushi joint to get some lunch. Yoshimitsu is amazed by cheap American beer. He then has a flashback to when he was in an arboretum with his best gal. That gets interrupted by the evil guy who somehow found them. They lead him into an abandoned warehouse. One guy comes at him with a motorcycle and gets bifurcated. Ooh, that's a big word. The lead bad guy is now figuring out that he's made a terrible mistake. Yoshimitsu almost gets it in the back, but is saved by Willie. Ah, Willie, thanks for the assist. Now you get out of here before you get shot. Ah, damn it! Yoshimitsu distracts the guy with a fan and then kills him again. Chris hears the gun and goes to investigate. I think someone here just hit the curb for real. Yoshimitsu is trying to help Willie. Willie hears the police, so he tells him to go before they get there. Yoshimitsu leaves him one of his swords. Well, this should help take care of your medical bills. The doctor gets a message from nerdy David Bowie that Yoshimitsu is killed again. This guy's voice may have been dubbed.
Find her first. We've got to put an end to this thing.
How can we? The police don't even know where to look.
Chris takes him to Takagi's place where he learns about electricity. Professor Takagi then explains the beginning of the movie to us. Chris then makes him some top ramen. What, are you trying to kill him? The doctor finds him. The others are waiting as backup. I like that this room is full of weapons, and this guy chose to use a suitcase. He hits Yoshimitsu with a taser, which puts him to sleep. The gang loads him into the van and escapes. The doctor tells Chris he wants to do an autopsy on him.
I can prove that Yoshi was dead when I got him. If he's still dead when the police find him, they'll have no case. Yoshi will have the perfect alibi.
Brilliant!
Yoshimitsu wakes up and fights off the crew. Chris tries to help, but gets knocked out. Yoshimitsu then stabs the driver right in this convenient kill-the-driver compartment. The van flips over. Yoshimitsu kills one guy, but Chris stops him before he kills the doctor. Yoshimitsu and Chris then ride off into the sunset. Oh, wait, that's not the end. That night, the doctor steals a shotgun from the police, proving that Chris should have just let Yoshimitsu kill him. A helicopter is scanning the area, and the cops grab Chris. Yoshimitsu saves Chris from the cops. They run into the doctor, who's lost it. Good thing he doesn't know how to work a gun. The police see this and shoot Yoshimitsu. Chris tries to explain, but he falls off into the water again. Only it's not cold, so I'm guessing he won't come back this time. Sorry we killed your friend. Have some coffee. Ghost Warrior was shot in late 1983 for Charles Band's Empire Pictures. This was one of the early films from Empire, released roughly around the same time as The Dungeon Master. The film originally came out in Europe as Sword Kill, but was rebranded as Ghost Warrior when it came to the US. This was J. Larry Carroll's first and last time directing. He previously worked as a producer on films like Laser Blast and co-wrote movies like The Day Time Ended. According to one of the producers, he was very difficult to work with because he had no idea what he was doing. This is a surprise because the budget on the film was $2 million. It seemed very out of character for Band to entrust that much money to a first-time director. He must have really been able to oversell his skills. The movie was originally supposed to be 3D, but that was scrapped as it was too expensive for a film that already cost too much. Ghost Warrior is a very odd movie in Empire's catalog. For a brand that's loaded with movies like Parasite, Ghoulies, Trancers, Robot Jocks, a slow drama about a samurai trying to survive in today's world isn't something you would have expected. Despite the director not knowing what he was doing, the film still turned out okay. Most likely due to an experienced crew and a very good cast. Charles Lampkin was great in the very brief role of Willie. Janet Julian was believable as the Oriental expert Chris. The writing for her character was poor. She was an expert that barely knew anything regarding her expertise. but the actress came off as earnest, which made you like her. The real standout was Hiroshi Fujioka as Yoshimitsu. He had very few lines, but his expressions and movements said more than mere words. Before this, he was the original Kamen Rider for countless seasons, as well as an actor in other Japanese movies. He later did narration for shows like Ultraman Towards the Future, and was the voice of Hazuki in the Shenmue series. Ghost Warrior is not exactly the movie you'd expect. As I said, it's an oddity in the Empire catalog, but a welcome addition. I mean, they can't all be Assault of the Killer Bimbos.
Is that who I think it is?
Toshiro Mifune.
I told you this place was hot.